Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Codename New to Vero 2. Hi, I'm your presenter, Shabu Are You. Now, I've just gotten back from attending Toylanta, and so I'm going to share some of the pickups I got during my uh, 3 days there at the convention. And here's what my assessment of everything, and I'll talk about it a little, as we go through this video. It's the people. It's not the toys. It's not the comics. It's not that. I mean, I got to hang out with Pixel Dan, the famous Masters of the Universe He-Man YouTuber, and it was like we were back in high school. I mean, I'm not going to post any of those videos or pictures because it was just fun hanging out. We walked to a restaurant after the convention was over. We got invited to a private toy museum showing, and just tagging along for all of this was hilarious and a lot of fun. One of the people that worked at Toylanta, he was a vendor as well, but Brett, man, what an awesome dude. Just making new friends, making connections, putting yourself out there. And that's what I walk away from this con. Now, I've always attended the ones in the state of Florida because, everybody comes to us, but it's nice to go to out of state conventions, stay at a hotel. I mean, after the entire convention, some people have quote unquote room sales and stuff like that. So it was just cool to be a part of all that. And of course, a big thank you to Simple Tricks and Nonsense, the husband and wife cosplay team of Rebecca and John, who basically just took care of me like family. I mean, those guys are awesome. So if you haven't, there's a link to Pixel Dan, Simple Tricks and Nonsense. I even got to meet Retroblasting. So I had a nice conversation with Michael, and it was just nice to finally meet him because I've talked to him since 2015 via, messages and stuff like that. And, you know, I like to think that he has a good impression of me and as well as everybody. I have no egos, no nothing. I don't care. I'm not going to fight if I disagree with something or if they agree. I'm not like that. I just, I'm not in that position too because, I'm trying to bring people together, and I've been a victim of hate, big of discrimination. I hate that. I would never want those types of negative feelings onto anybody. And I'm just saying that in general. So that's how I approach myself and conduct myself. And that's what I want people to look at when they view me or hang out with me. And I had a lot of fun. I ate way too much food. But the cool thing is, the hotel was next to this a shopping complex, so we weren't limited to just hotel foods. The planning was nice. I think that there's a little bit, as all conventions are. There's little things they could tweak in the end. They should have promoted the cosplay aspect of it, and I think that's a number one thing. And also, like they didn't mention that Pixel Dan was going to be there. I mean, that would have generated a lot. I mean, it was packed, but at the same time, like people knowing beforehand that Pixel Dan is there, or any quote unquote popular person, But this is actually in the infancy, so they start off as Joelanta. They're still keeping Joelanta. Then they have Toylanta, and then of course, Joefest is going to come around the corner. That's another separate team that puts that together. But overall, I think Brent is someone that I think the promoter should listen to. He's on the ground floor. He's like taking care of everything, but just a little tweaks here and there. But overall, a fun, a safe, and a successful convention. Alrighty, so on to the part that everyone's excited about, including myself, and that is what the hell did I pick up at this convention? At 3 days I had. So my selection is actually pretty interesting because a lot of my regulars know that I've kind of tapered off a lot of picking up action figures in the sense that like my vintage stuff. So with this retro room almost filled to capacity, I've had to be kind of highly selective if there is something that catches my eye. And yes, when you're at a convention like this with such great vendors, there's always a little bit more room you could find. Make room, I should say, for certain figures. Let's start off with the most recent. So everyone knows that I did my review of the Tiger Force Recondo figure. And at the time I mentioned that, I have much of the Tiger Force, but I'm missing this guy. Not anymore. Because my first purchase was of a Tiger Force Recondo at below $10. So that was a good pickup. The legs are a little loose and he doesn't have his accessories, but that's okay. The fact that I have a Tiger Force Recondo is pretty awesome. So let's see how he looks in his new home. So here he is, Tiger Force Recondo, and now I could properly show off the new and the old. This one is a beater figure. A lot of fading to it, loose legs, but like I said, for under $10, look at this team now. I mean, it's not a perfect team, so that's what I like about my Tiger Force. They have accessory packs, holding different types of guns. So this Recondo fits in nicely with this Tiger Force unit. So that is my first pickup at Toylanta. So as you know, I like to display my comics in the retro room. And there comes a point where there's a few issues that you would love to have, but that are kind of out of your price range. So the next best thing, and I highly recommend this to a lot of people, are these. So you see here the iconic Batman 227, and done by Neil Adams, who passed away recently. This issue has shot up through the roof to, being very, very sought after and being out of a lot of price range. So this is the next best way to pay homage to the late great Neil Adams and is still being able to enjoy this amazing cover. Ironically, when I went to that toy museum with Pixel Dan, the owners of that private museum also had a ungraded copy of this. The wife's actually, that's her copy. So it was nice to see a husband and wife, sharing this hobby, and the fact that I was able to hold the actual comic and appreciate it. And also get this for myself is amazing. So these are nice. Like if you go to convention and you see these, they're excellent artwork, and they're great for home decor. $5. That's how much this was. And the same thing with the Kingpin's first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man number 50. I think this is another iconic. I was able to pick up an issue that's close to this, and that issue makes it my lowest Amazing Spider-Man I acquired in my collection. So I was able to pick up an amazing, not too far from this issue, but that's probably the closest. This and that issue are probably the closest I'll ever get to this issue. So this is another iconic cover. Just that Spider-Man no more. What he was going through. We all go through that in life, and we end up having to answer our own calling. So it's a nice reminder. That's why I like this cover a lot. So the next item we're going to showcase, and it kind of stems from the fact that as an adult collector, I don't have much of the LJN Thundercats line. Of course, I have Lino, but he's missing his little claw, and I have Panthro minus his nunchucks. But that's basically it. So it was really, and since we just did Women's Month, one of the characters I've always wanted and targeted was Shitara, and prices for Shitara are crazy right now. And I don't know why, but she is the one figure that is very tough to get, especially at a very good price. And Shitara came in about $30, which is good because um, there was some vendors. There was another person selling it for $100, another one selling it for like $50. So the fact I got it below value below the average cost is definitely a big win. So now my LJN Thundercats looks a little bit better with these three. Again, this is going to be an ongoing project, but the fact is I really wanted to target Chitara before, her prices got out of hand. So this was definitely a win. And the other thing, when we went to that toy museum with Pixel Dan, there was an unopened Chitara and Wily kit that they had on display in this thing. So it was kind of cool. Oh, there goes Lino. But it was kind of cool to see that. Oh, Lino. I think you're better without tack, maybe. Well, anyway, so there's Chitara. All right, so the next thing I picked up at Toylanta is actually, I got this just before I left. It's the commemorative original Tila. So this is sealed in the special commemorative 1 out of 10,000 issued commemorative series. So I had to pair the original Tila with the original Evil Lyn. So I wanted to get Evil Lyn, and you guys who follow me regularly know about my Evil Lyn section right here in the retro room. So we have the Super 7 Evil Lyn, and of course the Origins Evil Lyn, and I wanted to get the original Evil Lyn as well to complement those offerings. And it would be good for Skeletor to have his squeeze. So we're going to have to set up Snake Mountain down here and kind of lay that out. So the good thing is like with Pixel Dan, Brett, and of course Simple Tricks and Nonsense, the whole Motu scene has been like really like welcoming, giving me education because they all know I'm more of a GI Joe guy. But of course, I loved He-Man as much. Then I loved Transformers, GI Joe. But the Motu guys, these guys are knowledgeable, and just the fact that they're sharing their passion, listening to them, and it just builds connection across franchises. So again, Brett actually sold this to me for like next to nothing. So what a friend. So he's like, hey, you need Evil Lyn? Here you go, in his Tennessee accent. So again, thank you, Brett, for this. This is really, I really needed it. So my next pickup is actually going to be Slipstream. That's right, the Conquest pilot. Believe it or not, here's Slipstream. Let me take him out of this little plastic baggie. Again, not a very expensive figure, but vital because I've been trying to repair my Conquest down there for quite some time. So part of my little hangar, my Conquest needs a pilot. So that's why I was lucky to find Slipstream and at a very, very cheap, reasonable price. One of the reasons why I kind of stopped buying stuff is the prices are crazy. I'm so glad I got most of my collection several years ago. So it's kind of like, wow, if I ever needed to sell stuff, I'd be in a good situation. And of course, the next figure I couldn't resist. I had two, but I made the mistake of selling one. So I'm back to having two cover girls. That's right, the second GI Joe I ever had, and one of the few women. This is a very good condition cover girl, so I'm glad to get another cover girl. So in my collection, I have her, one of them piloting the Wolverine tank. So to have a second one that I could use and display is very, very cool. Yes, indeed. So there you go, two cover girls. All right, so on to the comics. Of course, I'm going to pick up comics at a convention. And I was able, this is no surprise, to pick up my favorite G.I. Joe cover. This would be my third issue number 75. And this is the first direct edition. I have a newsstand, but I always love this cover. I mean, of course, it's iconic with the Baroness, and I can't resist. Every time I see a nice copy of one, I pick one up. So, of course, I'm going to add this. The next book I had and I sold, and I kind of regretted it, and that is Ghost Rider issue number 29. So this is the first appearance of Ghost Rider and Doctor Strange teaming up together. So this book has made some trending lists, especially after the Doctor Strange 2 movie, but kind of tapered down a little bit. So it was a good time to pick up this issue once again and just keep it and put it away in the personal collection, just in case they introduce this into the MCU, which is a highly likely probability. Alrighty. So the last comic is the one I mentioned about in the beginning of this video. I could never get issue number 50, but I got issue number 52. This one is probably going to be a 2 or 3 grader when it's all said. May get to 4 because there's a little bit of right here on the, but this is another iconic cover, and this, as of right now, because I have issue 57, so this is issue number 52. So this is the lowest number Spider-Man I own. So I'm really excited about that, and I get another great cover of J. Jonah Jameson and Spider-Man, and then this is going to be leading to that iconic photo of him, being covered in the sewer. So I kind of like that as well. So this is a great, within the budget, low ASM issue that I picked up. So we're going to end this episode with some more behind the scenes look during Toylanta. Now, here's the thing I want to get across is that if you were like, for several years I've been a fan, just staying at my house, not minding my own business whatsoever. But going to these conventions, I recommend everybody should go. There's going to be PowerCon, Joefest. There's so many connections. No matter what your age is, go out there, talk to people, introduce yourself, and just get that feeling of being a part of a community. It's so fun. It's so rewarding. I mean, I needed this for myself. I told my wife, I just want to go away on an adventure and just have some me time. And she was nice enough to let me go. And I'm so lucky, and I'm lucky to have good friends that take care of me, and I'm lucky to be a part of this community that's so welcoming and so friendly. I wish I could put this in a bottle and give it to you, because it's just one of those experiences that you understand once you're in it. Once you start attending cons and just meeting people, you see it's not just the toys. That's the gateway to get you. It's the people. And just spread good vibes out there. That's all you need to do when you go to these things. You don't need to be the coolest or what have you. Just be you. That's the most important thing. And you'll reap the benefits of attending. So this is Shabu Are You. Let's sign off. Before we sign off, enjoy these couple clips from Toylanta.
Concentrated in these heavy traffic areas. Get these men moving around, Sergeant. Jeff, let me.
Other than you, all the rest, I'm like, well, she's really getting this one. Okay. Find the fits and the sequence process. Dirty old feet. Oh, there's like blood in your mouth. I just wanted up this morning.
Then we have
Yeah.
Pixel Dan.
Yeah, that was what I thought was so cool.
So I wanted to give you a book. I
Okay.
also wanted to buy a book.
Oh, amazing, yeah.
But I also like to do children's books.
Oh,
with
that's
my
amazing.
own toys.
Really? Oh, that is so cool.
Probably not for you, but I know you had like small.
So like, he saw us when we were down.
Yeah, mine's kind of like on the same palette. Everybody's live in the chat like, why are they frozen? They're not frozen.
Alright, and
We'll get a photo of everybody together.